I just wanted to let you know that even if all that was left of you was your smile and your little finger, you would still be more of a man than anyone I've ever met. That's because you know what I can do with my little finger.
One of the most iconic characters in good cinema, with a history of more than 6 decades and a collection of 25 films, James Bond is not just a box office success, but a character who shaped and was shaped by global pop culture.
The most prestigious roles in acting for the movie world's most famous secret agent.
A United Kingdom symbol.
James.
Icon of seduction. James. And for many, the embodiment of masculinity.
I must be dreaming.
But times have changed. And despite all the adaptations he went through over the course of the movies, the same values and ideals that were fundamental in making him a global icon have now become a perfect target for cancel culture. This has become so loud recently that in the last movie released in 2021, something symbolic happened that fans had never seen throughout the entire saga. So who killed 007?
What is 007? After months of speculation, the coveted role of 007 has been revealed as Daniel Craig. He beat out tough competition from stars like Clive Owen, Hugh Jackman, and Colin Farrell. Reporters were notably unimpressed by 007's official unveiling today. Daniel Craig is quite different from what we've seen. The new Bond lacks the charm and charisma of 007, and he doesn't really look the part.
This warm reception for Daniel Craig when he was announced as the 6th James Bond makes it clear how heavy it is to take on such an iconic role. The general concern was that in his career, Craig had played very different roles and didn't convey that sense of masculinity. And because of that, he would stray too far from the essence of 007R. But now, here's the question. What would a true 007 be?
Let me tell you a story about a man.
Created in 1953 by the British writer Ian Fleming, James Bond emerged as the hero of his acclaimed series of spy novels. Fleming's books aimed to revive adventure and inspiration in a United Kingdom still shaped by post-World War II trauma. No surprise, James Bond embodied the classic British gentleman, brave, patriotic, and elegant. He awakened in nostalgic English people a longing for the days of glory. His first appearance on screen only happened in 1962.
What are you doing here, looking for shells? No, I'm just looking.
Portrayed by Sean Connery, he quickly became a worldwide success. A charming conqueror, and a story with good action scenes, suspense, and a subtle humor that captured the spirit of the 60s very well, with many scenes that, if they were made today...
Or the weapons. The weapons, of course.
Talk. Yeah.
Those were different times. After Connery, George Lazenby took on the role for a single movie, but he didn't have the same impact. The next iconic James Bond would appear in the 70s with Roger Moore.
Keeping the British.
This time, a lighter character well adapted to the taste of the family audience of that decade. A form of entertainment that mirrored the era's taste for escapism, featuring more exaggerated and fantastical villains, and a 007 with even more unusual gadgets, which weren't always used as expected.
Such a delicate touch, sheer magnetism, darling.
An era that still featured controversial scenes.
I am looking for Dr. Goodhead. You just found her, a woman.
After 7 Roger Moore films, critics said that James Bond had become too silly, and it was clear that the saga needed a renewal. In the 1980s, Timothy Dalton appeared to play a more serious and darker Bond. They were probably the 2 most violent films in the franchise. And although Dalton did well, the directors wanted a new face for the 1990s.
Sorry, I forgot to play it.
Pierce Brosnan followed, starting strong by making what I consider the saga's best film. GoldenEye Brosnan was a mix of Roger Moore's humor and lightness, with the charming style and provocative lines of Sean Connery.
That depends on what you mean by safe sex.
One of the major milestones of his era was the appearance of strong female characters.
If you think I lack the guts to send a man to die, you're dead wrong.
For the first time, women stopped being mere supporting characters, which made the narrative even more interesting, since now there were female characters strong enough to confront his conquering masculinity, which until then had been practically untouchable.
Because I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur and a relic of the Cold War.
Anyway, I think that after going through all this review, I really got the essence of 007 and understood why the fans were so upset when Daniel Craig was announced.
I went online and read everything because that's what happens if you do that. And it was tough. It was really, really tough. It was hateful.
The outrage didn't last long, though, since during the filming of one of the scenes from his first movie, a hidden paparazzo managed to reveal a behind-the-scenes photo. And suddenly, even before the movie came out, the public was sold on the idea. I think Daniel Craig's movies were the most unique. He was no longer that infallible and impenetrable spy, but a character whose flaws, vices, and emotions are explored in a way never seen before.
Quanto álcool você consome é demais?
For the first time, we saw a more vulnerable 007 facing personal dilemmas, psychological traumas, and physical challenges that had not been seen in the movies until then.
Medical evaluation, fail. Physical evaluation, fail. Psychological evaluation, alcohol and substance addiction indicated.
Without a doubt, he was a different Bond.
What's the regulation to cover this? There's a first time for everything. I remember the night of the premiere, that line, the whole place just rocked with that line.
His films were well received overall. I even believe that by exploring this side, they made Craig's 007 connect even more deeply with the audience, reinforcing the franchise's success and proving once again that no matter the era, James Bond will always be immortal, more or less.
It's another day to live another fairy tale.
As if the pressure from the fans themselves wasn't enough, anyone who followed behind the scenes knows how the directors were increasingly pressured by critics to impose new ideologies and moral corrections. In the last films, the ideological conflicts behind the cameras were intense. On one hand, the fans demanded the maintenance of traditional values, while on the other, the media and critics demanded an adaptation to the ideals of the modern world, to, in this way, eliminate what they called the toxic legacy of James Bond.
Age is no guarantee of efficiency, and youth is no guarantee of innovation.
This dilemma goes far beyond 007, or the film industry itself. Today's society tries to impose its morals on everything, which suffocates freedom of expression and thought, forcing us to watch many people hide their originality behind socially accepted speeches.
We're men, we're straight, we're privileged, man.
You must be joking.
A culture so submissive to these impositions that it becomes trivial, where art, which should be an individual expression of its creators, has been reduced to a mere vehicle to transmit political and ideological messages. The artistic soul is lost, the brilliance and genius disappear, and the culture becomes insignificant.
Brave new world.
Today, society doesn't care if something's true. Just say it and sell it.
Look at what they publish. Look at what they expect us to write.
The dumber I make him, the richer I get.
We live in a deceptive and manipulative environment where truth and originality are sacrificed for twisted ideologies. Art and interactions are dominated by superficial social consciousness discourses, which validate any content regardless of its real value.
We'll print anything these days.
In today's industry, quality is often set aside and replaced by an urgency to moralize and raise awareness, prioritizing messages over artistic merit.
Yeah, the kind of book critics call important and necessary.
But not well written.
The media is filled with constant ideological oversight, producing uniform, repetitive content and few challenge it. Because talk of social awareness, however forced or fake, always emerges.
If you don't care about the environment, you still have to be responsible.
A false collective morality which is becoming more and more internalized in people, no longer leaving room for questioning, debates, or opposing opinions. If you criticize, you lack social awareness and are therefore a bad person.
If the images are always available to you 24 hours a day for the rest of our lives, the powers that be,
We are hard at work.
dumbing us to death.
We become products of a universe of systematized irrelevancies where fear and guilt paralyze and silence us for thinking differently. A process of human domestication toward conformity, which is reflected in multiple aspects of life. And it's emblematic in the trajectory of James Bond, who, despite successful adaptations over the years, in the last movie, the character seems to have reached his limit. From then on, the changes would destroy his essence and appeal. And most likely, that's why, after 25 movies, the directors decided it was time for him to go. The plot. Continuing could mean turning him into just another generic hero of conformity, although many see that as progress. I see this imposition of restrictions and norms in the name of a collective morality as a setback for humanity. A setback that prevents us from exploring our differences, to revolutionize ideas and evolve socially. Because if there's one thing history has made clear, it's that we can't blindly trust in a collective morality. We shouldn't give in to the fear of being canceled or surrender to conformity, but embrace the complexity of the human condition, understanding that flaws exist and that they are fundamental to our learning and personal growth. After all, it's truly evolved people who develop a society. But to achieve this above all, we need to allow ourselves the courage to truly be ourselves. 2.